America contributed to Japan's recovery from the devastation of the Second World War with kindness and generosity no victor could be expected to show. In 1951, the San Francisco Peace Treaty, signed by Allied nations, readmitted Japan into the global community.
Never in all history has a treaty of peace restored a vanquished nation so completely to a status of equality with the victors.
I'm very hopeful that
in the 50 years since then, the United States and Japan have developed solid ties based on friendship and trust. As Senator Mike Mansfield often said,
there is no more important relationship than our relationship with Japan.
In the 1990s, aware that Japan's prosperity could not have been achieved without American assistance and support, a grassroots initiative grew around one person's idea that Japanese citizens should show their gratefulness in concrete ways. This has become the A50 project, with events, scholarships, publishing of books, and a dialogue caravan across the United States. A50 stands for Appreciation and America. The past 50 years, the 50 states, as well as the next 50 years and beyond. Chairperson of A50's Executive Committee and President of the Japan-America Society of Tokyo, Yoshio Okawara has had a distinguished diplomatic career.
It has been my great pleasure to serve 3 times at the Embassy of Japan in Washington, a total of 10 years, half of which were as Ambassador of Japan to the United States. I have witnessed enormous accomplishments made by our 2 countries in the political, economic, and cultural spheres. Our partnership has been a solid basis for peace and stability in the Asian region and indeed the world at large. It is thanks to the support and cooperation of the United States that Japan was enabled to return rather early to the fold of the international community. Japan's membership in the UN, IMF, the World Bank, and GATT are concrete result of the efforts and support of the U.S. government. Even in the early years after the war, the U.S. administration earmarked funds for Japan's social and economic recovery, including GARIOA and EROA. I myself attended graduate course at NYU on GARIOA scholarship. In gratitude for contributions received in times of need, Japan is now helping developing countries through substantial financial assistance, cultural exchanges, health programs, human resource development, and recently peacekeeping efforts. The alliance between our 2 countries is a partnership of mutual trust. We must respect each other's ways of life and continue working together for the betterment of our societies and the world for the generations to follow. A50 is a private initiative to express our sincere thanks to America for its assistance in the early years of Japan's recovery after the war.
Yotaro Kobayashi is the leader of international activities of the Japanese business community and serves as chairman of the Keizai Douyukai.
I went to Wharton School of Finance in Philadelphia, freshly out of Keio University, and majored in industrial management. That's where I learned the so-called 5 principles of problem solving. 30 years later, I learned that that was exactly what TQC was all about. There was no way Japan could manage to recover initially from the Second World War by itself. Our economy was in ruins and we lacked the skills required for reconstruction. Economic aid, technology transfer from the United States helped Japan eventually attain levels of production on par with the Western world, again with American management methods and quality control ideas. And all this would not have been possible without the U.S. keeping its market open to Japanese goods, although what counted was the Japanese people's commitment and hard work. Young people today should learn from the past 50 years and must continue the positive momentum in their own ways. And this is one reason I suggested a 50-sponsor publication of a history of amicable U.S.-Japan relations. To me, the most important question A50 will raise is how should we, particularly the younger generation, position U.S.-Japan relations so that they continue to have a positive impact in the world of the 21st century.
Tadashi Yamamoto has worked vigorously to bring together Japanese and American leaders. As a result, ongoing friendships have been formed which have contributed to the good relationship between our two countries.
The United States not only helped rebuilding Japan's economy, but also helped Japan developing relationship with outside world in the worst post-war period. We all know that promoting mutual understanding and cooperation is essential to sustain the relationship among nations. Japan didn't have much of a channel of communication after the war. It was Americans who helped rebuilding that channel for us. It was American foundations, think tanks, and exchange organizations which helped Japan developing many programs of that kind. Shimoda Conference was the first of the policy dialogue between the two countries, and I served at Shimoda as a director in 1967. Many conferences, seminars, joint studies, dialogue programs followed the Shimoda Conference. By now, we have many of these programs, which are essential in developing partnership between the two countries. A 50 caravan program has been created and implemented in that spirit, and we hope very much this dialogue will open the new avenues of the much stronger bilateral relationship between the United States and Japan.
With two grown children, Yasuko Tabata is active in community services and a volunteer at Tokyo's St. Luke's Hospital.
Most Japanese believed the United States would treat us badly after the surrender. Instead, America initiated humanitarian aid programs aimed at alleviating our suffering. This included healthcare assistance, medical services, and pharmaceuticals. Ordinary citizens of the U.S. and Canada contributed generously to relief organizations that distributed food to the hungry and participated in a school lunch program which ensured that no child would starve. I was born after the war. Lacking nourishment, my mother couldn't breastfeed me. I might not have survived had our family not been given powdered milk donated by these charities. When I got married in 1971, my mother gave me this can, which she had kept all those years as a reminder of what we'd gone through. Our children have never lived through the suffering that war inflicts on innocent people. I want them to know American people opened their hearts to us in times of need and appreciate that peace must be nurtured at all times.
Hirotsugu Ikubo is initiator of the A50 project. It is thanks to his dedicated efforts and the cooperation of numerous volunteers and contributors that A50 has come to fruition.
The idea of A50 is to express the appreciation of the Japanese people to the people of America for helping us recover from the devastation of World War II. Japan today owes much to the generosity of America some 50 years ago. Another objective of A50 is to discuss the future of Japan-US relations over the next 50 years and beyond, our shared values, common purposes, and roles on the world stage. It is vitally important for those born after World War II to understand the need to strengthen mutual trust, that is, a dedicated commitment from both Japanese and the United States to finding mutually satisfactory solutions to areas of friction between our great nations, We hope the caravan will lead to phase 2 of A50, further involving young people of both countries in defining new concepts and developing new ways to promote global stability. I hope A50 will serve to underline the importance of a strong U.S.-Japan relationship, upholding the dignity of each nation and learning from each other as we continue to work together.